Wojnarowski reports that Lakers star Anthony Davis has been diagnosed with a strained calf after an MRI showed that he had an aggravation near his right Achilles. He will be reevaluated in 2 to 3 weeks. In the world of college football, former Auburn head coach Gus Malzahn has a new home, agreeing to a 5-year deal to become the new head coach at UCF, where he replaces Josh Heupel, who filled the opening at Tennessee. American star skier Mikaela Shiffrin won the women's combined competition to set an American record with her 6th world championship title. Her 9 overall medals, one more than Lindsey Vonn at the top all-time of American medalists. And Pistons and 6-time All-Star Blake Griffin reached an agreement that will keep him out of the lineup until the franchise and his representatives resolve his playing future. This is according to Team GM Troy Weaver telling Woj.
Speaking of Woj, he is back with us here on SportsCenter. So the NBA trade deadline, Woj, is March 25th. What does the future look like for Blake Griffin here moving forward?
Well, the Pistons are moving toward a rebuild, starting to play their younger players. And so Blake Griffin will wait for either a trade or presumably a contract buyout. He's owed over $50 million with 2 years, this year and next year left on his deal. That's going to be difficult to trade. There is a market for Blake Griffin's skills, but I think between his agent and the Pistons, ultimately they're going to have to find a number that he could walk away at to be able to become a free agent if they're not able to get a trade done here.
Okay, how about Andre Drummond? What's the latest surrounding him?
Similar circumstances. He's in the last year of his deal. Cleveland's moving toward Jared Allen as their future center. And now Drummond will step away. Cleveland will look for a trade. There's been no buyout contract talks yet. But Drummond, 17.5 points, 13.5 rebounds this season. There are a lot of teams, including Brooklyn, that might love a chance to acquire Drummond. Doing it in a trade is going to be difficult, but he's got a significant market. That's going to play out here as we move closer to that March 25th trade deadline.
Did you mention the Nets? That's a great transition, Woj, to the very latest here. Let's go to Hannah.
I love how you did that, guys. All right, developing story that Kevin Durant's return to the team was short-lived. The former MVP will miss at least the next 2 games, including tonight's contest against the Kings. He's going to rest a strained hamstring. The Nets are calling the injury mild. Now, the Nets have played 15 games since James Harden made his team debut back on January 16th. But their big three has only played together in 7 of those games. And KD's impact is very clear. They're 7-3 when he's available. They're only 2-3 when he's not in the lineup. The Nets also averaged 7 fewer points per game without KD on the floor. Our NBA reporter Malika Andrews has been tracking the Nets all season. Never a dull moment, Malika, and for various reasons. Of course, they've been dealing with lineup changes all season. So how are they digesting this latest news, this minimum 2-game absence for KD?
Well, Joe Harris told me this morning, Hannah, that at shoot-around they discussed it briefly as a team, and their mentality right now is that they need to focus on building camaraderie with the people, with the players that they actually have available on the court. They can't keep thinking about what if we had Kevin Durant in this game or what if we had another player in that game. They're getting used to rolling with these punches because, as you said, the Nets' big three have only played 7 games together thus far this season. And on Friday, in Kevin Durant's first practice since he came back from that week-long hiatus in the health and safety protocols, he told me that he'd hoped to use this road trip, this 5-game West Coast road trip, to build camaraderie, to build chemistry on the court. But now that's going to have to wait a little bit. The Nets have used 17 different starting lineups this season. They could use a new 18th tonight against the Kings.
Wow, that's kind of mind-boggling, really. But one thing they do seem to have figured out, Malika, are the backcourt roles between James Harden and Kyrie Irving really coming in to focus over the weekend. Harden dishes out 16 assists in that win on Saturday night. And before I ask you about it, let's take a listen to what Kyrie had to say after that.
I feel that he's just been doing a great job of just managing the point guard role. You know, we established that maybe 4 days ago now. I just looked at him and I said, you're the point guard and I'm going to play shooting guard. And that was as simple as that. he's been taking control of the responsibilities and doing an incredible job. It just makes my job easier. Just go out and play free and just make plays. So it's a luxury. Just wanted to continue it.
Okay, so Malika, I'm sure you've gotten to the bottom of this. I mean, has this been actually a running conversation between the two, or was it really just a very quick, short, I'm the one, you're the two conversation?
Well, what do you think, Hannah? This has been a running conversation that they've had over the course of the season. And Kyrie Irving said that this wasn't a mystical conversation that they had, where they sat down and hashed out all the details. It's been a running discussion that they've kind of had all year long, but then they hammered it out in that brief discussion that Kyrie Irving just talked about at a practice. In fact, when James Harden first joined the Nets, Steve Nash said that James came to him and said, look, I am willing to do whatever it takes to make this work. Remember, the question when James Harden was traded to the Nets was, there's only one ball. How is this going to work with all of these players that need the ball in their hands? And this is their answer for that. And so far, like you've said, in that game with those 16 assists, it has been working, and they're looking to build on that now as they continue this road trip.
Yeah, definitely needed that clarification. Malika Andrews covering the Nets who face the Kings tonight on the road. Thank you.
We have some tragic news to report from the NFL. Former Tampa Bay Buccaneers wide receiver Vincent Jackson was found dead this morning at a hotel in Brandon, Florida. The 38-year-old Jackson had checked into the hotel on January 11th. His family reported him missing last Wednesday, but police found him at the hotel on Friday. The police said there were no apparent signs of trauma. Jackson spent 12 seasons in the NFL, 7 with the Chargers, his last 5 with the Buccaneers, his final season coming in 2016. He was a 3-time Pro Bowler and recorded the 4th most receiving yards in the NFL between 2011 and 2013. Vincent Jackson was 38 years old.
Much more to come on tonight's breaking news. With Anthony Davis out at least 2 to 3 weeks, new reaction from the Lakers on the impact of AD's absence and what could be next around the quarterback carousel, finding the best fits for the Colts to replace Phillip Rivers and the Saints if and when Drew Brees retires.